Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Khadija and this is part 2 of my weight loss story.
At first it took me a while to understand, because I was like, I don't eat sugar like that. I don't eat, ice creams. I don't eat, all the sugary stuff, sweets or what. I don't really indulge in such. Obviously, I might have a few pick here and there, but it wasn't like my go-to thing. I was more a pastry kind of girl. So, I thought I was, enlightened on how I ate, but trust me, I really wasn't. Yes. So on to the next thing. So then she was like, oh, it can be controlled, because what she said is that sometimes if your blood sugar reaches a certain level, you'd have to use insulin, you'd have to use tablets, which are called
metformin.
So those tablets you could use. Actually, there was different types of tablets as well, but that particular brand was the one that was recommended to me at a later stage, which helps you control your blood sugars while you eat and during pregnancy. And I think some people that have type 2 diabetes also use it as well. I'm not too sure, but so anyway, with myself, when she told me you could control, I said, right, I am going to do everything in my power so that I don't have to take no tablets, because I don't really like taking medication anyway. And for sure, won't be injected insulin. So I cut out all types of sugar. I cut it out, the smoothies, the fruit. And then this woman literally, I would say, kind of like just changed my whole aspect on how I eat, I should say, and how much I was eating and how much I was overeating, basically. Because she then broke down how carbohydrates was a massive cause of most women getting gestational diabetes. So basically, overeating carbohydrates in one sitting it just doesn't do you any good, because one, you don't burn it off, and two, you don't need it. So when she now said that, she goes that how it's about portion control. I was like, portion control, like, tell me more. So then, we had our, one-to-one meetups, where she now told me about how in a sitting, a carbohydrate, let's say for an example, rice, in a sitting, all an active, like human being needs is like 5 to 8 tablespoons of rice. I was like, what? 5 to 8 tablespoons? Are you sure? I would consume in one sitting about 20 and thinking I was healthy because I went to the gym. Nah. Epic fail. Thank God for this woman. Her name was Claire. She was a dietitian and she worked at the NHS, and she was awesome. She just broke it down to me. She took her time to make me understand. She sent me emails. She also told me to then I did my own research about gestational diabetes, and I came across this online NHS online food guide, and it kind of gave me food that had low glycemic index in them. So for an example, if you're eating bagels for breakfast, they have a high number of glycemic index, which means the sugar goes into your bloodstream really quickly, and then it spikes up your sugar levels. Whereas for myself in that condition, I needed to keep it down. So therefore, I needed to go for food that had low glycemic index. So for an example, in the fruit groups, let's say I would have normally pineapples. Cut it. No pineapples. No bananas. No watermelons. It was fruits that had low glycemic index were plums, apples, grapefruit. And I literally stuck to those 3. So from my diagnosis of having GD, so I'll say like 6 months. So I think 6 months is like 30 weeks. because like a pregnancy cycle is 10 months. So therefore I had 3 months. So literally, okay, we don't do sugar. We didn't do sugar. I cut out bread. She now gave me ideas of things to replace, to obviously still consume, because then me and food were like having like a we were you know, it wasn't, yeah, me and food wasn't at a good place then. It's not like I didn't want to eat, but the fact of not knowing what to eat just made me more anxious. And then I was just like, so I cut out all traditional foods, full stop, because one, I felt like the preparation of it was highly carb intense, because like, let's say for an example, if I was to eat rice and stew, jollof rice is rice. Most of it is rice. Nothing else. So I cut out all traditional food like swallows. I didn't have any swallows while I was going through, while I was pregnant, the last stages at all. I didn't have any sugars, like you say. I didn't have any bread. I used to have bagels in the morning thinking I was healthy, like, you know. No, I didn't have that. I started having omelets for breakfast, and in my omelets I'll have like vegetables. And then, you know, this process just made me understand food, how to eat and how to nourish your body, not eating because you're bored or eating because, you know, oh, that looks good, I'm just gonna stuff it all in my mouth. I mean, obviously now I still have the odd treats here and there. Don't get me wrong, I do, but it's all in moderation. Like I account for everything that goes in my mouth now, and I'm happy, extremely happy about that. But anyway, back to the story, back to my gestational diabetes days. So yeah, so she taught me how to like eat and what to eat. So for an example, even like if you're going to have chips, you know, she said a handful of chips is enough, rather than, you know, a large fries, or, you know, like the portions were so important on how my body burnt or used the food that I was eating. You know, I notice a big difference now in myself. And like before I would eat, I would just be like, oh, I can't move. You know, I'll be sluggish. But now I'll eat and I've got energy. I can do things. Yeah, let's get up and go. You know, like, we ready. But before, I'll just be like, oh, I need to rest. I need to digest my food. No, you just ate too much. And that food ain't digesting because there's too much in there. Anyway, so then she taught me that. And so during pregnancy, I would do that. And then with the GD, every day, before you eat so in the morning you wake up, dry fast, you test your blood, an hour, so you eat breakfast, lunch, dinner. And one of the best ways to control your blood sugars is to regularly eat, and regularly eat small portions of good nutritious meals. Helped me. Literally, like, I was getting, like, my blood sugars was not going above 7.2. If it went, because I think the target was 7.5 or 7, or was it 7? I think the target was 7. If it went over 7, it was like, oh, what did you eat? Let's review that. To the extent that later on, I started getting ketones in my wee. Ketones means you're not getting enough nutrients in your diet. That was another story. I was like, look, I'd rather have ketones than have type 2 diabetes. Like, we are not playing with diabetes up in here. So anyway, so then, like, you know, I'd go and see her and she'd be like, oh, can you eat more? So then it got to a stage where later on, like, let's say like 3 weeks before my due date, I had to go onto the tablets. But the objective was that I was going to control as much as I could the GD with how I ate, and I achieved it. I really did, up until the last bit where it was like, no, you need to eat a bit more, because yeah, we're not getting enough and baby's not getting enough. And then also before, she was like, you know, keep active. So like after eating, I'll go for walks. Before eating, I'll go for walks, just so that I could control. Because literally in my head, I was like, right, we're not doing it with help. We're doing it we're doing self-help, and that was the angle that I went in, and I was like, right, I'm going to do this all by myself. And at the time I wasn't even thinking of weight loss. I was just so focused on controlling what I ate and how I ate, eating on time, making sure me and the baby was healthy, that obviously I started losing weight. So but that did not even cross my mind. It was one day at work when my colleague was like, you've lost weight. And I was like, I looked at my arm and I was thinking, actually, I think I have. But I was like, God, but, you know, like, didn't think anything of it. So, and then also another thing with the gestational diabetes, you have to go get, every week you'd have to go and get like a full blood check, urine test, like make sure everything's on track, weight, like make sure they weigh like measure baby, measure your belly. And I remember like the midwife kept saying like, your belly's tight, like one of the nurses that worked in the, because there was a diabetes department, that's where you'd go to like, and there was loads of women there, and you know, you'd be speaking and meeting them, and some of them will be telling you about their journey and their experiences, and you know, and I'll be telling them my experiences, because like literally I was a nervous wreck, I'm not even gonna lie. I was just like, I'll be sitting there like tapping away, when are they gonna call me? Then I'll meet like a, you know, lovely women, and they'll be like, oh, very nonchalant about it, and just not nonchalant, because obviously people deal with things in different ways, but just very relaxed, had a different outlook to what I did. For some reason I took it so hard. Like today it's so wonderful that I can laugh about it now, because like then it wasn't funny. It was a lot for me to like mentally adjust to, and my midwife would just be like, it's fine, a lot of women have it. And I was like, I don't want to hear that. I just want it to go away. And I think another thing that scared me was the fact that it could lead to type 2 diabetes. So obviously at the time I didn't know if I had type 2 diabetes or not. So it was one of them things where you'd had to have the baby, then do the test again, and blah, yada, like, you know. So therefore, obviously the unknown was just like, made me nervous and on edge for a long time. Okay, so then so that was what we used to have to do. Like, so, you know, I met a few regular people that had like, some women were there from day one. They found out from like, you know, or they've had it previously, so therefore they will have to be checked out. Or some women have diabetes, so they have to be checked out and monitored during their pregnancy every week. So for myself, I had it from 6 months. So let's say like, so about 26 weeks. Yeah, I remember that day because it was epic. But yeah, so so it was about 26 weeks into my pregnancy, so therefore for the duration of my pregnancy I had to go there every week. And then, you know, it was like they'll measure my belly, baby's small, and then like, you know, just guys, if you've been pregnant before, you already know that you're on edge, you're worried, you just want everything to be fine. And then on top of it, you have some conditions. Obviously, some women have different conditions during pregnancy. Mine just happens to be GD. And I'm kind of grateful that I got it, because what it made me realize and what it made me do, if I didn't have it, I wouldn't know, because I wouldn't have met the dietitian. I wouldn't have been taught how to eat. I wouldn't know that, okay, I don't need 20 spoons of jollof rice to be full. I don't need to eat so much in one sitting to be full. You know, just so many things like that. It just helped me. So basically, let's now fast forward pregnancy, had my baby, like had a normal labor. It was quick, because that's another story. It was so quick. It was awesome. Women out there, I rate you, because we go through a lot. Mentally, physically, emotionally,
Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, and then I'll see you in my next video. Bye.